Let's see how this works. So I'm going to record the session just for people who cannot get here. Right now, we're missing 3 people, so we'll just give them a few minutes to log on. I don't know, we can do something exciting. I hope you're all ready for a crazy time. Who knows what this semester is going to hold for us. Right now, I'm in my office. I don't know, can you see around here? Very exciting. The genetics books up here, in case you're wondering. I have my official first science t-shirt class, so you all got to know. Okay, always I am addicted to science t-shirts, especially genetics t-shirts. They're hard to find if you haven't guessed. This one was actually made by a friend of mine, a colleague that I used to visit in the Netherlands. I did some work in the Netherlands, and that's always a lot of fun. Good, looks like people are logging in, so we're almost got everybody ready. So the good thing about this is I'm assuming that everybody knows how to use Zoom, was able to log in okay. I feel like, I can't remember her name. There was a show called Romper Room when I was a kid, and they had a lady hold up the magic mirror and would call people's names and say, oh yeah, I see Emma and Steph and Michaela and Brooke. Anyway, you have to be there, I guess. So look, I got Mike, Rick, Liam, and Dan. If you guys don't want to activate your picture, it's okay with me. Just say hi on chat or something so I know people are really here. Yo, Rick, Dan, good to see you. Hey, nice job. Chat works. Excellent. I don't know if I could see you. Hold on, Will. Where are you? Yes, gotcha. Gotcha. The good news about this is maybe I'll actually learn some of your faces since we're never going to meet in person unless you actually decide to show up. I don't know when I'm going to be on campus, so today I'm in the office. I'm going to guess at least Tuesday, maybe Thursday. We'll see how it all goes in case you want to stop in the office. I always have coffee going, big pot of coffee when you're here. So you can always drop in for coffee if I'm here. I don't know how many days a week that'll be. At least 2, maybe 3. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. So I think that makes us right. Yes, we are all here. Excellent. Excellent. Good. So Genetics Lab is going to be a new adventure in a lot of different ways this semester. Obviously, none of the bio labs, except for maybe 1 or 2 advanced bio courses, are actually going to have in-person labs. Histology will be in person, but there are only 6 people registered for it, so pretty easy to keep social distance. We're going to be here and keep moving forward as long as we can. Getting a weird message on my Zoom machine here. Anyway, I'm Guy Barbato, so most of you should be familiar. Oh, I forgot my name's up here too. I really enjoy this lab. It's really a shame that we've got to do it online. This past summer, I did both genetics lecture and also genetics lab. The first time it was done at Stockton, entirely online, entirely asynchronous. I am going to try to do it similarly. I just wanted to meet together for at least the first time so we could go over just some details and an overview of how the semester is going to look. And we'll see how the rest of the semester goes, but I don't actually envision meeting synchronously, meaning at the same time during a Zoom meeting, more than once every 2 or 3 weeks, just to check in, and maybe we could just hold some chat sessions as some of the assignments get to be a little more detailed, and we can just catch up at any time. It doesn't have to necessarily be at this particular time. You're certainly welcome to Zoom me, or I don't do FaceTime, but Zoom or Skype or whatever, or just email me. I'm usually pretty good with email, so no problem there. Everything's going to be online. First thing you got to know, and I'm looking off on my other monitor if you see me poking my head around, is I'm going to share my screen here so you can see what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about. And there we go. And hopefully everybody can see this. And I'm just going to change my setup here a little bit. Okay. Everybody can see the lab archives. I'm pointing here, but it might be down there for you. I'm not quite sure where my picture is on your screen. This is lab archives, and we are going to use lab archives to work our way through the class. Lab Archives is an electronic lab notebook. It is one of the best ones I've ever used. I've actually written some software and written my own lab notebook using WordPress. And I've really abandoned it because this is just so good. It costs $15 to sign up. Who signed up? If you got a picture on, just let me know. Good, a couple people, good. So everything is going to run through Lab Archives. They give you, I think, 30 days free. So you can sign up without having to pay right away. It's $15 for the entire semester to sign up. And it actually is $5 cheaper than if we had printed lab notebooks. The printed lab notebooks are $20 at the bookstore. So this saves you at least $5 from having a printed version. The other advantage is you will have this lab notebook forever, or at least as long as the company stays in business, because the information is saved for you. You can print out all the materials if you want, or you can save it on a local hard drive as a PDF file. But the bottom line is you do have access to your lab notebook as long as you want it. So it really is, in my opinion, much better than the paper version of the notebook. The other advantages of the electronic lab notebook is that we are able to correct things and add and edit as we go along. So you'll find that during this semester, periodically, I'll be updating some materials, and the updated materials get sent to you automatically. So I can change it on Master Notebook, and each of you gets an individual, each of your individual notebooks get updated automatically. So I really think it's a real handy tool to use. So mainly, once you log on, if you want to take a look to the left here, on the left-hand column, you can see it's the 2020 BIO 2115 manual, and there are a whole bunch of folders. What we're going to talk a little bit about right now is the top folder called Administrivia, which is the trivial administrative nonsense that we've got to talk about to get through the semester. So not a lot of genetics right here. Mostly in this area, you've got the overview, which is really just all the information that's published in the course catalog for the university. There is also a brief note about pandemic safety, so that when you are on campus, it reminds you to wear some kind of face covering or face mask, as well as to maintain social distancing. And it also has links to the university FAQ. If you are on campus, if you are logging on to any university resources, You have to sign up, and many of you have probably done this already. You have to sign the Stockton Pledge, which says that you will do your duty to Richard Stockton and God and country and maybe President whoever, Kesselman, and I don't know. It just basically you promise to take care of yourself, do all the things we're supposed to do, wash your hands for 20 seconds, and that you'll be good people. That's at least the concept. So this has the fact, it basically brings you to our community standards page for the university. So it'll give you an opportunity to see what those are if you want to go ahead and read them and just know what's up. They do suggest that you contact the university if you either have had or will test positive for COVID-19. I think that's a little bit of a violation of HIPAA rules, but having said that, it's one of the things that they are requiring as we go along at the university. More importantly, perhaps, is a brief note on technology that is required to get through the course and to do these online courses. I am absolutely thrilled that all you guys have figured out how to get onto Zoom and have logged on. In my summer course, it took us about 2 weeks to get everybody online. And given that the summer session's only 6 weeks long, it was brutal for some people. So I'm real happy everybody's online. You know how to use Zoom, Blackboard, obviously. And of course, the other thing you'll get used to is using lab archives. And it's really nothing more than it's intentionally made to look just like a Windows Explorer or a file management system, again, with a different set of files in there. I do have one little thing, and I actually should move this to the top of the list, is some of our laboratory exercises will require graphing, and you will have to create graphs. In order to create those graphs, you will need a full-featured spreadsheet program. What I mean by full-featured is not Google Sheets and not Office 365. In experience over the summer, neither of those programs could do the more advanced graphics. You'll find that we'll have to manipulate for 2 exercises during the during our lab sessions. You will need to manipulate the axes in a graph, converting from a standard linear type scale to a log scale to perhaps a natural log scale, to do other transforms of the data, and neither Google Sheets nor Office 365 accommodates that kind of calculation very easily. So if you may need to, if you don't have access to it, you may need to come in to use a university computer if you're off campus at some point in time in order to do those exercises. If you don't want to come in, I know a lot of people are commuting and not staying on campus. As long as you have a personal computer of some type, whether it's a Mac, whether it's a PC, whether it's a Unix machine or a server of some kind, you can use a free full-featured Office app called Libra Office. And there is a link on the Lab Archives page for you to get a hold of it. Libra Office is basically Microsoft Office with all of the same kinds of apps: presentation manager, word processor, spreadsheet program, database program. The only thing it doesn't have is an email program associated with it. And it is free. I'm very big on free. Free is good. And so, and is really handy, works very, very well no matter what operating system your computers work. you can even load it on an Android tablet, which is really a lot of fun. If you like computer geek type stuff, it's always a good thing to get a little bit of experience with. So one way or another, and we'll talk more detail about those as we get to those exercises that will require slightly more computing power. Part of what you'll see is the calendar of experiments, and I have this here. So you can see basically what I've done is broken down the syllabus into multiple smaller documents to make them a little bit easier to handle. And one of the first things that you'll notice is that every lab exercise, with the exception of the 2 exercises that will require the advanced graphing, every exercise in lab is worth 10 points. So every week is a 10-point exercise. The 2 graphics-related exercises are worth 20 points each. And you know what? I think, does it help if I make this bigger? Is that easier for you guys to see? Sorry about that. Didn't dawn on me till just now. So really, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think there's any, let's see here, wait a minute, I just got a strange email. I guess I should read it. Nah, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. So one of the first things that you're going to see is you look down the list of the potential dates and the different assignments that we'll have, and you'll see that the names also match up with all of the different subfolders under lab exercises. So even though I do have 10 of the lab exercises listed here, we're not going to do each and every one throughout the semester. So you got to kind of pay attention to which ones are being assigned during which week. And of course, there'll be an email and a video reminder for each week of lab. Okay, and I will have those available for you on Tuesday. So if we're not meeting in person, you'll actually have a video to watch. I try to keep these videos, unlike today, I know we're in person. Try not to spend more than, I don't want to spend up to an hour today. So hopefully we'll get it done in about 40, 45 minutes. The usual videos are only about 20 to maybe 30 minutes long. I find that most of us can't stare at a video for more than 10 minutes, so I'm pushing it with 20. Sometimes it's just hard to keep that much information in a small 10-minute block of video. So I try to aim for 20. Sometimes it gets to 21 or 24, but I do the best I can. The first month or so, we are going to be using literally a video game to teach genetics. The game is called Geneventure. And I sent the email. Some of you should have signed up for Geneventure already. It is really a very, very positive game with a lot of great information. It starts out slowly with very simple genetic concepts, but at the same time, by the end of it, gets into fairly complex areas of genetics and really does, I think, a super job. I discovered the game when I was going to my biochemistry and molecular biology meetings, and some colleagues up at the University of Massachusetts developed it specifically to teach genetics to undergraduates up there. And so they use it entirely during their laboratory sessions in genetics, and really, I think, does a great job. So just to give you an idea what it looks like, there are a couple things one should do. The first is, and if you get a little bit confused, you can look under lab exercises. Notice here is the intro, and I'm going to show this to you here. The intro has the websites, and notice that I have at the bottom, in case you forgot, I've got your particular Geniverse user ID, as well as your temporary password and the class word, which you need to do certain exercises. So really not a big deal, but it's all available to you. If you did not get an invitation, if your name is not on this list, then you need to send me an email so that I can hook you up with the user ID. This video, by the way, is a little bit of an older video for a previous version of Geneventure. This was Geniverse. They contain many of the same exercises, but Geneventure is just the next iteration or the improved version of Geniverse. If you want to see what it looks like, the first thing you should do is get to the concord.org website, and you'll notice in the top right-hand side, it says login. Log in with the username that I gave you, as well as your password, and log in. Once you get to log in, you'll see that on the left-hand side here, you have classes, and you should see here in 2020 fall, section 003, and of course, here are the assignments, okay? Now, for whatever reason, it has these kind of backwards. The assignments that you're going to do are the Geniverse assignment is here, but you are going to do the initial assessment before doing the actual game. And the reason for this is, as part of the Geniverse assignment, we would like, and this is all the genetics labs are doing this, want you to take the assessment. The assessment is basically a genetics quiz that you get to take to see what your current state of knowledge is about genetics. Please do not Google the answers. The object is to see what you know now, because if you haven't guessed, at the end of the semester, we're going to let you do, or actually the end of the game, about halfway through the semester, we're going to have you take the post-Geniverse final assessment, which will see how much you actually learned, okay? So during the summer, the class averaged 50% for the initial assessment and averaged 85% for the final assessment, which meant there was a 35 percentage point increase between the two, which is great. And I certainly would hope that by the end of the semester, between lab, between Geneventure, and between your lecture section, that you will learn enough genetics to at least average 85%. So I think it's a very positive view. But there is a brief issue here, and let me switch websites one more time for you. And that is, notice that each of the lab assignments are worth 10 points. So of course, if everybody averaged 50% for the first assignment, which of course is the initial assessment, the average class grade would only be 5 points. It's a Q2 course. We do a lot of math. Okay? So that's really not very fair to make you take a test that you haven't learned the information yet to get 50% on and only give you 5 out of 10 points. Alternatively, you could Google all the answers and get 10 out of 10 points, which defeats the purpose. Or we can have a very Zen approach, which is all you have to do is do it and you get 10 points and you win. You win 10 free 10 points. I love free, right? So the good news is all you got to do is take the pre-assessment. As long as you take it, you're in. You win 10 points. You are starting with 100% an A in genetics lab. By the way, it doesn't hurt my feelings to do this. A faculty member in the bio program, who shall remain nameless, accused me once of contributing to grade inflation because I gave away too many free points. But the good news is 10% of my students never actually do the assignment to collect the 10 points. So if any of you want to skip it and start out with zeros, it's okay with me. I don't mind, okay? It helps me. The dean loves it when I give out bad grades because everybody thinks I'm too easy, okay? So no matter what you've seen or heard in the past, trust me, things get more fun as we go along. So all you got to do is take it. So you log on. Once you log on and you have your assignment, these assignments will take you. Now I have this crazy look here, and you can see nobody's started it yet, which is nice. Nobody's taken the initial assessment yet, which is nice. But what I can do is show you what Geneventure looks like. So let's take a peek at Geneventure. So once, I'll just hit the preview. What it does is it brings you into this gaming screen and console. It's kind of like an old 80s or 90s video game. It really is. One of the things I do like about the new version is the old version was a little bit on the sexist side. You had to choose a character in the beginning, so you had to, and so they've gotten rid of all that nonsense about trying to figure out who your character is. It really works. There's a little bit, if you look down on the bottom here, there's a little bit of a didactic. It explains the premise of the game. The bottom line is the horrible, evil kingdom of Darkwell is attacking the dragons. And so we have to develop a dragon breeding program to increase the dragon numbers. And so good can triumph over evil by creating these beautiful dragons. Really does remind me very much of when I gave a talk at Penn State. One of my areas of interest is in poultry genetics and domestic birds. And I used to talk a lot about improving feed conversion and improving egg and meat yield in domestic poultry and how it helps to feed the world. And a close man who became a close friend and colleague over the years introduced himself. He was a geranium geneticist. And right after my talk, he looked at me and he said, he said, I would love to feed the world, but all I want to do is study flower genetics to make the world more beautiful. I thought, shit. After that, nobody wanted to look at birds. I was like, oh, God. So this is kind of like, I don't know if you eat dragons or not, but it makes them more beautiful. So basically, you are going to discover some phenotypes or traits in dragons, identify the genes that influence those traits, and find ways to make up matings that combine them appropriately. And I hope you enjoy it. I think it's pretty straightforward. Once you get through all the didactic information here, basically you come up here to the top of the screen and it lets you begin your mission. And this is basically the mission for the first week. So between now and next time, you'll get to do this at your own pace, missions 1 and 2 between now and next time. Piece of cake, okay? I actually think it's kind of fun, and I think the information is pretty good in it, so I think you'll enjoy it. But it'll give you a starting place, which is to get to here. If you have trouble logging in, and I know I'm looking away from the calendar, my daughter tells me all the time, don't do that, but I got to look at the other screen sometimes. So we're pretty straightforward here in our first set of exercises. As we move along, we will move through other assignments, And at the end of these assignments are basically going to be small, short, fill in the blank or short answer, quiz-like worksheets. They are not to be, you don't have to worry about looking up the answers. You don't have to worry about using other resources. Most of the information is actually given within the lab write-up itself, and it allows you to go through, and they're basically the things you should have learned from the lab. They're not hard. They probably won't take you more than 10 minutes to do. I have always encouraged students, the worst thing about doing lab online like this is we don't have lab groups. Usually people get together at their own lab tables, and people can work on these worksheets together. Unfortunately, because we're all in separate universes here, we don't get to do that. But I encourage you to use Google Meetup, any way you want to kind of touch base, group texts, Zoom meetings, whatever's good for you. Skype, it makes no difference to me. But to get together, if you want to. If you want to get together with other people, then feel free to. I don't know how to set up subgroups on Zoom yet, but I'll look into it. I think I can do it on Lab Archives, though, and kind of connect up groups on Lab Archives if that's something you might like to do as the semester rolls along. So this is pretty much it for the semester. I am going to try to use Zoom and our synchronous meetings, meaning 2:30 on Tuesdays, as infrequently as possible, maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks. I will always record the meeting to get to the point where if you are unable to meet when we do meet and you want to catch up on what we talked about, I think the only time we may actually need to have these in-person sessions are for the more advanced labs a little bit later on in the semester, especially the ones where we're using spreadsheet programs to do graphical analysis. Other than that, I don't think we're going to need a lot of synchronous FaceTime. I don't think we're going to need, I don't think we will, but we'll see. So any questions? Sounds like a walk in the park, right? Piece of cake. Oh my God. So the one question I got asked that was really critical from this morning's lab, by the way, the recording session did not work in this morning's lab, although everybody was there. So I don't know, Zoom is very bizarre to me. But the one question I did ask was, is there a final exam in laboratory? I'm assuming some of you might want to know. No? So the answer is going to disappoint some of you. I do not believe in final exams for laboratory sections because laboratory sections are experiential. They are meant for you to do problems, to experience the lab. And I realize that our experiences are limited to online experiences, but hopefully they will be sufficient to enable you to do the exercises each week, to follow through with all of the online assignments. You will have to do the readings, you will have to watch the videos, you'll have to check in on the websites, and I think that's a sufficient experience. You do not need to have a final exam. I realize this is probably disappointing some of you. And as much as I hate to disappoint students, I am more than happy to make a final exam for those of you who really want one and you really feel compelled that you want to take a final exam. And I will be happy to write one for you and you can submit it. But I also have to tell you, it will be a little bit of a Zen exercise because there will be 0 points if you make me do this. It doesn't matter, because if you really want to do one, it'll be for your own edification. And it doesn't really matter if you get points. It matters is doing the process. So let me know if you really want one. I'll be happy to provide one for you. So I'm thinking, I think that kind of covers it. What do you think? So make sure you sign up for Lab Archives. Make sure that you sign into Geniverse. If you have problems, please let me know as soon as possible. Do not wait till next Tuesday or Monday morning. Okay, let me know as soon as you can. It's not hard, and as I say, you don't even have to spend the money right now because you get like 30 days free before you actually have to pay them. And you can use a full-featured version of Lab Archives up until that point in time. Make sure you're able to sign, make sure when you sign up for Lab Archives that you use your Stockton, your go.stockton.edu email address. Extremely important. It will not work if you do not. Okay? When it comes to Geniverse, make sure that you use the user ID that I assign to you. Otherwise, you won't be in the class, and we won't be able to track that you actually completed the assignments. Okay? Other than that, I'm good to go. It's a beautiful day out there. Time to hit the beach. Still daylight till about 7:15 or so. Anything good? Good to the cause? Nothing? You're all ready to go? I can stop sharing. Don't know why I didn't do that before. Now you have my full version of me. I'm so excited. Hopefully we'll get to know each other. I'll let you guys talk at some point during our next meeting, but I don't want to keep this going on longer than we need to. I know some folks have work, and this is just too long to be on a Zoom call unless, you know, unless we're tasting scotch or something and comparing notes. So other than that, you guys take care. Have a great week. Please let me know as quickly as possible if you have problems. And be safe out there. Take care, you guys. We'll see you.